Hello, my friend. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pick the right song to lead with in your Spotify playlist promotion. So the main focus of this video is how to choose the song for the #1 position to be in your Spotify playlist and in your Facebook and Instagram ads when you're using ads to promote a playlist. But this can be used for you to figure out how to pick a featured track whenever you need to do any kind of music promotion. There'll be 5 options for you to pick from in this video, and I should let you know that this list is in order from what I recommend to what I do not recommend. So the #1 way that you should choose the song that you want to lead in your Spotify playlist promotion is to simply choose your most popular song. And there are 2 ways that you can do this, and the best results will be when you combine these 2 ways. The first is to use quantitative data. So these are going to be the numbers in your Spotify for Artists dashboard. So not just things like the number of streams, but also the save rate, the amount of listeners, the amount of playlist ads, those kind of numbers. You're also going to want to look at any ad data if you've been running Facebook ads, what songs got you the lowest cost per result, and the most amount of conversions in that campaign. And you're also going to want to look at social media engagement. So the number of comments you got when you were promoting that song, the number of messages you got when you were promoting that song, those kinds of quantitative data. And then the second thing that you'll want to look at is the qualitative data. So when you were getting comments and messages and having conversations about that song, whether it was on social media or if you've been showing the song to friends and family and fans, you'll want to kind of reflect on the types of conversations and the comments and messages that you were having to get that gut feeling of, oh wow, people really like that song. And by kind of looking back on that qualitative data, I think that's where you'll really find what your most popular song is. Some songs might get streamed a lot because they were on a good playlist or something like that, but those songs that are truly special, that really capture a fan's attention, are going to be those ones where you have a lot of conversations about them. And I think that's particularly important because when choosing that kind of standout featured track song to be in the #1 position of your Spotify playlist, and the one that you're going to be using in ads to drive fans over to your Spotify playlist, you want that song to be that one that's going to capture a fan's attention and be something special that's actually going to want to bring them into your world. So obviously that could be a lot different if you're doing like traditional playlist promo where you're signing up and paying someone to put your music on playlists, because the chances are when someone listens to your music on one of those playlists, they're actually not going to dive into your back catalog and listen to a bunch more of your music. But when you're running ads to your own Spotify playlist, you're actually going to be capturing brand new fans that are going to want to stick around. And once they're on that Spotify playlist, you control what's on that Spotify playlist. So you just want to capture their attention with a nice song in that video ad, put it in that #1 position to get them into your world. Then from there, that's where you can put your latest release or the songs that you feel are more important and that will deepen the fan relationship in that Spotify playlist. But right now you want to focus on your most popular song, the one that's going to bring people into your world. And again, the best way to do that is to choose the most popular song, and you can do that by doing a combination of both looking at the quantitative data and the qualitative data to overall get a good gut feeling of what you think should be the lead song. The second best way to choose a lead song for your Spotify playlist promotion is to choose a song that had really standout advertising metrics. So this is personally what I've done in the past to start off my own Spotify playlist campaigns. However, this can really only be useful if you've been running a bunch of ad campaigns in the past for your previous new release. So the idea here is that every time you're releasing a brand new song, you would do something called a new release campaign, which is very similar to a Spotify playlist campaign. But instead of directing people over to a music link that links out to a Spotify playlist, you would instead be directing people to a music link that directs people to your Spotify profile or directly to that song or album. By running this in the first 2 to 3 weeks of your new release, you have a good chance of triggering the Spotify algorithm to greatly increase the amount of streams that you have. And if you've been doing this for a couple of months at a time, you'll be able to go back into the Facebook ad manager and find out which campaigns had a really nice low cost per result. And simply you can just duplicate that and switch out everything to be a Spotify playlist campaign. And that way you've kind of already done the heavy lifting and figuring out what the right audience is and figuring out what the right video ad should look like and all that kind of stuff. So that way you can simply swap things out and get started running a Spotify playlist campaign using campaign assets that have already worked in the past. And that's why this method can be so effective. You're getting that fast track, a kind of shortcut to getting set up with an ad campaign that you know will work nicely. The third method is to simply choose your latest release on Spotify. However, I would only really recommend this method if your latest release is your only release on Spotify. The main reason for this is that it's very possible that your latest release could be your newest, greatest, most awesome track, and it's going to be your most popular track. However, there is a good opportunity that artists can be wrong about their own music. They can get really involved in the creative process, and that can kind of blind them. So it's possible that you might think your latest release is the latest and greatest, but Your fans simply might not agree, and if that is the case, then your Spotify playlist campaign is not going to do as well as you would like it to. And this is why I would recommend leading your Spotify playlist promotion campaign with a song that has been proven to do well, as opposed to kind of shooting in the dark with a brand new release. If you do want to promote a new release, then I would recommend doing something like the new release campaign that I mentioned in the previous method. Or what I would definitely recommend doing as well is have your lead song be your most popular song, the one that is going to do the best in terms of performance and bringing people into your world. And then in the number 2 position, that's where I would stick your latest release. That way you bring people in with your most popular song, and then right after that in the playlist, they'll be hearing your brand new release, and you can use that as a way to boost the stream counts and the engagement to trigger the Spotify release radar algorithm within that first 28-day cycle. And the fourth method that I would recommend is to split test several different songs. So this method will be much more complicated and will cost more money on your part. However, this can definitely lead to the best results possible. So the idea here is to create at least 2 or 3 Spotify playlists that are identical, with the only difference being the song that's in the number 1 position. You would then create unique music links for each one of those Spotify playlists, with each one pointing to, say, music link A pointing to Spotify playlist A, and music link B pointing to Spotify playlist B. And then in the Facebook Ads Manager, you would also have separate campaigns for each of these playlists. So you'd have ad campaign A with the song A in the video ad pointing to music link A, and then that music link A points to Spotify playlist A, which has song A in that playlist, and you do the same for B and C and D. So then you can monitor a combination of your Spotify for Artists dashboard metrics, seeing in the playlist section how many streams each one of these playlists are getting, as well as the ad metrics as well. But I would really mostly focus on the data that you're collecting in the Spotify for Artists dashboard, because then you could see which playlist is getting the highest amount of streams, and then you could eventually cut out the ones that aren't working and only focus on the one that is. This is a really data-driven approach that can really get you the best results, but it will be a lot more complicated and can take a lot of more time and money to figure this one out, so I wouldn't really recommend it for everyone. And the last method is to choose your best song or the lead single on your album or EP. And quite simply, I would just not recommend this method unless that best song or that lead single is the only song that you have on Spotify right now. And the only other exception would be if that best song or that lead song happens to have standout metrics, or from quantitative and qualitative data, you've been able to figure out that that's also your most popular song. And again, the reason here is you do want to pick the song to lead in this Spotify playlist promotion that's going to be the most likely for fans to listen to it, love it, and join your world and start listening to all the other songs that you have available. And the truth is that, again, artists can get caught up in the creative process and think that their newest song is their best song, or maybe some song where they're ripping a huge guitar solo is their best song because they're thinking about like the technical aspects of music creation and that kind of stuff. And simply, I think the main thing you want to focus on is let your fans make these decisions for you by putting music out there, collecting feedback on your music, then looking at things like the Spotify for Artists dashboard and looking at qualitative data like conversations that you're having with fans, friends, and family. That's really the best way to figure out what your best song is, as opposed to some kind of gut feeling or a musical impulse that you have deciding what you think is the best song that you have available. I'd really encourage you to take this kind of fan first approach, as opposed to kind of having that arrogant like, oh no, like people love this song, but trust me, song C is actually the best. I would really encourage you to avoid that kind of mentality and always take a fan first approach, because that's why we're doing all this stuff for fans, to show our music to people and have them love it. And you got to let them tell you what they love, and then lead with those songs when making your decisions with your music marketing and your music promotion. So those are 5 different ways that you can choose the standout song, the featured track, that lead song that you're going to use in your Spotify playlist promotion, with the best idea to choose that most popular song for sure. So if you want to learn a little bit more about creating Spotify playlist campaigns, I do have a free Facebook ads course that you can check out. It's built into the 7-step release checklist that I have, which is also free. It's the 7 steps that I go through every single time when I'm releasing my music, and it's allowed me to get over 5 million streams on Spotify and get to the point where I'm at today, which is super cool. And basically included in that, where the step is to schedule and set up the Facebook ads as part of that release checklist, it also links out to a completely free Facebook ads course, which you'll find useful and can guide you through this process of setting up the Spotify playlist campaigns yourself. So if you found this video useful, like and subscribe to all that good stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and good luck on your next release, my friend. Have a good one.